$7, 15 minutes, and the air coming into your home or your coop drops a few degrees cooler and comes out clean. No electricity, no filter subscription, no machine, just one material doing two jobs at once, cooling and cleaning, and it is the exact same material sitting inside every $300 air purifier on the market right now. They just wrapped it in plastic, stamped a logo on it, and charge you 4 times a year to replace it. I am old Ben. I live out in Kentucky. I have kept chickens, goats, and a family of 6 comfortable through every summer for the last 40 years, and I have never once bought an air purifier or paid for a filter subscription. I use a $5 bag of material from the pet store, a shallow tray, and the breeze through my window. Been doing it so long I forget other people do not know about it, but they should. So, today I am going to show you exactly how to build this yourself, where to place it so it actually works, what kind to buy and what kind will waste your money. And I will give you the one safety rule you cannot skip, because nobody else will tell you that part. The material is activated charcoal, and what it does is simple once you understand 2 things happening at the same time. The first thing is evaporation cooling. You know this already from your own skin. When sweat sits on your arm and wind passes over it, you feel cold. That is because water cannot become vapor without stealing heat from whatever is around it. It takes that heat and carries it away, gone. So when air passes over any wet surface, it leaves cooler on the other side. The heat stayed behind in the water. That is physics. Not opinion, not a trick, just how water and air have always worked together. Now here is why activated charcoal is better than a wet towel or a bucket of water for this job. Activated charcoal is the most absurdly porous material you can hold in your hand. One small handful of it contains millions of microscopic tunnels and chambers. If you could flatten out all that internal surface area from a single palm-sized piece, it would cover a space larger than the room you are sitting in right now. That is not an exaggeration, that is measured. All that surface does 2 things for you. First, it holds water deep inside itself and releases it slowly as air passes through, so it stays damp for hours. It does not dry out in 20 minutes like a wet rag. It feeds moisture into the air steadily, which means steady cooling at the intake point. Second, and this is the part worth money, all those microscopic tunnels trap airborne compounds as air flows through them. Ammonia, mildew, stale odors, volatile chemicals. The bad things floating in your air stick to those surfaces and stay there. The air passes through and comes out the other side without them. That process is called adsorption. You do not need to remember the word. You need to know that it grabs the foulness out of moving air and holds it. That is why every water filter and every air purifier on the shelf uses this same material as its active ingredient. You are just buying it without the plastic housing and the brand name markup. Same substance, same function, fraction of the cost. Now let me be very specific about what to buy, because this is where people waste money. You want activated charcoal sold as loose black granules. The cheapest source is the pet aisle. Aquarium filter charcoal, $5 to $8 for a bag that lasts the entire summer. You can also find it labeled as horticultural charcoal in the garden section. Same thing, either one works. What you do not want is barbecue briquettes. Those are compressed sawdust and binding agents shaped into lumps for grilling. They are not porous. They do not have those millions of internal tunnels. They will not cool. They will not clean. They will sit in your tray and do nothing. Activated charcoal only, loose granules, that is the one. Here's the build. And it is almost too simple to call a build. Get any shallow tray, a baking sheet, a plastic bin lid, A wooden box lined with a bit of plastic, anything flat that holds a layer of material and lets air pass over the top. Spread your activated charcoal across it, 1 to 2 inches deep. You want surface area, not depth. Wide and shallow beets, narrow and deep. Soak it with clean water, pour it over until the charcoal is wet all the way through. Let it absorb for a few minutes. Then tilt the tray and pour off any standing water. You want it damp like a wrung sponge. Saturated but not pooling. Standing water does not evaporate efficiently. Damp granules with airflow across them do. Now here's the part that separates this from a useless science experiment. Placement. You set this tray at the intake, the window where your breeze enters, the vent opening, the doorway where outside air flows in, right there. So every breath of air entering your space passes over that damp charcoal before it reaches you or your animals. A tray sitting on a table in the center of a room does almost nothing. The cooled air drifts upward, mixes, disappears. You never feel it. But at the intake, in the path of moving air, it becomes a system. Every incoming breath is filtered and cooled before it reaches the space. That single placement decision is the difference between something that works and something that sits there looking clever. If you have natural cross-ventilation from a window, that is enough airflow. If you want more pull, a small battery fan or a solar-powered fan aimed across the tray increases the effect. But wind through a window works on its own. No power required, $7, 15 minutes. Set at the window. Now the safety rule, and I will not dress it up or skip past it because this matters. This setup requires moving AIR, open window, open vent, cross breeze. That is how it works, and that is how it stays safe. You do not seal a large amount of damp charcoal into a small closed room with no ventilation and sit in there with the door shut. In a sealed space with no air exchange, wet charcoal can gradually reduce oxygen levels. That is a real concern in a sealed environment. But here's the thing. A sealed room with no airflow defeats the entire purpose anyway. The system needs moving AIR to cool and clean, so the safety rule and the function rule are the same rule. Keep air moving through the space, always. Open vent, open window, breeze flowing. Follow that and you are safe and you are getting the full benefit. Now let me tell you where this earns its keep, because I want to set your expectations right. This is not going to replace your central air on the worst day of July in your living room. I will not tell you that. Anyone who does is lying to you. Where this system shines is targeted spaces. The chicken coop where your birds are panting and the ammonia is building. The rabbit hutch in August. The back bedroom that never gets airflow, the barn corner where animals shelter from the heat, the camper, the workshop, the sick room where you want gentle, clean, cool air. For a chicken coop, this is serious. Birds cannot sweat. They shed heat poorly. They start suffering in the high 80s and it turns dangerous past 100. Add ammonia from the litter stinging their lungs and eyes and you have a welfare problem. Build a shallow frame from scrap wood, open on 2 sides, screen or hardware cloth holding the granules in place, fill it with damp activated charcoal and set it in the vent opening where air enters the coop. Now every breath your birds take came through that charcoal first, cooler from the evaporation, cleaner because the ammonia stuck to those surfaces instead of reaching their lungs. For a flock in a heat wave, that is the difference between birds that make it through and birds that do not. One more honest word about climate. The cooling effect depends on humidity. In dry air, out west, high plains, desert heat, the air is thirsty. It rips moisture off that charcoal and you get a noticeable temperature drop. Several degrees. You feel it immediately. In humid air, the deep south, the Gulf Coast, muggy summer days, the air is already carrying moisture. It cannot absorb much more, so the cooling effect is gentler there. A degree or two, maybe 3. But the cleaning works everywhere. Humid or dry, the charcoal grabs ammonia, odors, and stale compounds regardless of moisture in the air. So in humid country, think of this as an air cleaner that also takes the edge off the heat. In dry country, think of it as both a cooler and a cleaner. Set your expectations honest, and it will never disappoint you. Maintenance is 30 seconds a day. Pour a cup of water over the charcoal each morning to re-wet it. That is it. After a month or two, the charcoal saturates with trapped compounds and slows down. You do not throw it away. Spread it on a flat surface in direct sun for a full day. The heat drives the trapped compounds back out. The charcoal resets, ready to work again. One bag lasts the entire season this way. Now step back with me for a moment, because this is bigger than charcoal. Think about what they sell you to do these two jobs. The air conditioner runs every hour of every hot day, and the electric bill comes every month. The air purifier costs $300 and demands a new filter cartridge every 60 to 90 days, $20 to $40 each time, 4 times a year, every year. And what is inside that cartridge doing the actual work? Activated charcoal, the same granules, the same material, sitting in a molded plastic frame with a barcode on it. You can buy that same material loose for a few dollars, set it in a tray, freshen it in the sun for free, and it does the same job it does inside that expensive machine. The difference is, nobody can bill you monthly for a tray you refresh yourself. Nobody can sell you a subscription to a window breeze. Nobody can put a recurring charge on sunlight. That is why this stays quiet. Not because it fails, it works. It is the same material doing the same job. But quiet things that cost $7 do not get marketing budgets. They do not get shelf space. They do not get recommended by the companies that profit from your dependence on their machines and their filters and their monthly bills. A man who can cool and clean the air for his family and his animals with a bag of charcoal and the breeze through his window does not need permission from anyone, does not need a bill from anyone, does not need a machine from anyone. That is worth knowing. So here's what I want you to do. Get a bag of activated charcoal from the pet aisle or the garden section. $5 to $8, not briquettes. Spread it in a shallow tray, wet it down, pour off the extra, set it in the window where your breeze comes in, re-wet it every morning. And if your animals need it, build the screen box and put it in the coop vent or the hutch opening. Remember the one rule, air moving through, always, never sealed up. Tell me in the comments what space you are setting yours up in. The bedroom, the coop, the barn, the camper, and if you are in humid country, tell me what drop you get. I want to hear what you find in your own place. I read every one of these. Next time I'm going to show you how I keep an entire flock cool and healthy through the worst week of summer. The shade, the water, the dust baths, the way I set the coop up so heat never builds in the first place. That is the natural next step after today. Keep the air moving, let the water and the charcoal do the work. And remember, the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember.